What's going on, guys? Today, as promised, I've got another match analysis for you. This time it's going to be EMP, which I believe stands for Extreme Magnetic Power, if I remember correctly. EMP versus Nagastrike. This happened on NetPlay last week. So we see EMP on the left and Naga on the right. And EMP is going to be using Rayo 1 with Afterburner, Standard S, Seeker F, and Ground, paired with Milky Way, Dragon, Acrobat, Seeker F, and Feather. And now Naga is using his pretty standard usual build: Glaive, Needle, Gemini P, Diving, and Short Thrust with Metal Bear, Hornet, Acrobat, Wave, and Feather. And so just going ahead and looking at the matchup, I think that a Metal Bear is going to have a little bit of trouble here because in order to evade the Dragon, then it's going to have to use his Air Dash, which is a really limited resource for the bear because he only has one of them. So I think the Dragon's going to give Metal Bear a little bit of issue, and he probably will have some trouble getting around the Afterburner too, but I don't think it's going to be that bad because I think that Afterburner is so slow. If he gets in close with either of his two bots, Naga's going to be in a really good position in the up close battle because of how relatively faster his guns are. And even if he gets in close versus Milky Way, Dragon actually doesn't have the knockdown power to down either one of these guys in one hit. So I think Naga is going to do well if he gets in close because both of his guns should be able to knock down both of his opponents in one hit, assuming that he is in close enough range. And that's going to allow him also to out-trade his opponent. But the Dragon could be an issue if they play the long-range game, and I think Glaive should, in theory, be able to get around this Dragon and punish. As long as he's not too active, if he plays kind of passively, he should probably be able to punish the Dragon with Needle just fine. So let's see how this first game goes. Where's the damn play button? There it is. Alright, let's get into it. Battle 1 on basic arena. And so you can't really tell because of the way the camera is positioned, but EMP is going to launch first before Nagastrike. And I don't think that either one of these players really handles this early exchange very optimally. You'll see EMP hatches, runs over here, and shoots his Afterburner. And it's just quite not fast enough to catch Naga. He takes a step to the left and he does this Gemini Needle thing that he always does. And so here's what I think could have been done better here. I think that EMP, after he hatched, needed to shoot his bomb, which is Standard S. The S gives it a whole lot of hit stun basically and locks him in place. So I think the play to make was hatch, immediately shoot your bomb, full jump and dash this way, and then on hit confirm, then that's when you shoot your Afterburner. In fact, he probably on hit confirm could shoot another Standard S and then Afterburner, I think. I don't know for sure, but I think. And that probably would have been his best opener in this scenario. And for Nagastrike, well, I'll just show you. This isn't going to hit. And the wall was in the way for the Needle to get him, and since he was in lag, he wasn't going to jump or move left and right into any of his lingering hitboxes. So I think what Naga needed to do was one of two things. He could have either taken this step to the right, gotten behind the wall, and then aimed his bomb to the right so that this explosion here would be moved over just to where he is. And I don't know if he would have been able to dodge that or not. It would have added extra time for him to have to aim, so he might have been able to get out of the way in time. So the alternative play that he could have tried to make, I think, is to just take center stage and throw out a pod for pressure and then play neutral from there. I think that would be the best way that Naga had to capitalize off of that opener, because I don't think he has the kind of time to be able to hatch and teleport all the way over here and punish him directly. So we're going to see them both throwing out pods, and Naga has center stage here, which I think is good for him. One thing I have to commend EMP on is that in this whole match, he's doing a really good job of making sure he always has pods on the field. However, it's like whenever he remembers to do a pod, he'll like double tap it, you know, and you'll probably see like both of them come out. And probably not the play to make. You probably want to put him in 2 different places, but he does do a good job of making sure he always has them on the field. And now Nagastrike teleports. He has this good center stage position, but then he just gives it up, and he comes all the way back here. And I don't think that's really what you want to do, especially given the matchup. Like I said, he really wants to be getting in close and going for trades, and then he'll just win the matchup. So I think the play to make here, let's rewind just a little bit. Okay, so right here, the play that he could have made is either he could have landed on the ground here, because he has his pod like in this sort of area. You can't really see it in this frame, but I think it's maybe behind the wall, or let's see where did his pod go? Oh man, I rewinded just a touch too much. Yeah, so the pod is, oh, it's just in front of the wall. I think he could have either landed here and then shot a Gemini, which would have covered like right here and right here. He wasn't here yet, he was like, and then that would have cut off some of his retreat options. And then he could have jumped over and tried to get him with his gun, or he could have just jumped up immediately and tried to shoot him with needle. The other option is, instead of doing any of that, just dash in, don't even land and shoot the Gemini, just dash in and go for your needle shot, because I think forcing the close range exchanges would really win him this match pretty easily because of how the matchup is. And so I think retreating like that is definitely a huge misplay. But some bombs and pods come out, they all whiff, it's fine. And this is exactly what I'm talking about here. So they both they trade with their guns, and Naga takes 31 damage from this exchange, and EMP takes 40 damage, right? But, well, actually 60. But then Naga gets the knockdown, so he gets the conversion here. And this is why he needs to be going for the forcing close range exchange, because it just wins in knockdown power. And so he gets the damage off of it. And so they both get clipped now trying to jump by lingering hitboxes, but this puts Naga in a bad position because that bomb, the standard S, has all of this hit stun, and it's going to allow him actually to shoot another one and confirm it. He double pods his way again, but this I think is a misplay. Watch this. He gets the hit confirm, and then he goes for afterburner, and Naga is able to just win the close range game again with needle gun. I think after you get that hit confirm off of the standard S, then collision attack is the way to go in that kind of range, and that definitely would have put you on top in that trade scenario. But you lose a trade due to the gun being too slow and being in too close of quarters. So at this point, Naga's ahead a little bit in trade by about 50 points, and I think that he really would do well if he would play a little bit of just like the wait and punish game and not do anything too risky from this point, especially if he can force him onto the dragon. Now he teleports away while his opponent is in rebirth, and I think that landing like right around here with your third teleport would have been more optimal, because then this situation right here isn't going to happen where he gets clipped by the afterburners. However, I think he also had a better reaction he could have made to this, because he goes for the combo breaker, which is fine, to reduce the damage that he takes, and then he immediately shoots bees. I think that while he's invincible, you may as well just dash forward and try to force the exchange that way. He always makes this mistake where he accidentally tries to acro cancel while he has invincibility, so that's something to definitely try and take note of. But the Hornets miss. He has to burn his double dash to get away from the Hornets, but they miss. Naga takes center stage with his acro jump. Let's see what he does with it. Shoots the Hornets, and they just barely... Oh, they barely miss, but then the second shot catches EMP coming around the corner because BS Hornet hitbox, and he wins the close range game again. And now you'll see he's not able to make a huge conversion off of it because of these secret pods. Look at this. You see, he gets the knockdown, and then here are the pods saying, back the hell away. And so, instead of being able to, like, just run forward and shoot him with more Hornets, he's forced to back off and dash forward and try to capitalize, but he didn't make it in time. And then, EMP makes this beautiful conversion of his bomb to gun, basically. Overextends just a little bit and gets punished. Probably not used to the tag battle mechanics entirely. And now here, I think that probably he teleported here. He probably could have gone at a very slight angle to get around the dragon and gotten a punish, I think. And so he gives up a potential punish right here. And Naga's just trying to get out of this pressure situation that he's in. And he finally gets out, and this is a really beautiful punish. This is a perfect punish right here. He sees the dragon, teleport, teleport, teleport right in your face. And on top of that, EMP was in tag cooldown, so he couldn't even do anything. And another great punish. This puts him like pretty far in the lead, I think, at this point. And so, like, really, it's shaping up to be Naga's game. But I think here's a really critical mistake. He gets shot in the face with the dragon, and then he just runs away. See, that didn't knock him down, so this could have been another guaranteed punish. And it would have put him, like, even farther in the lead, honestly, because a needle from that closer range would have knocked down EMP, definitely. But he gives it up, and you'll see he's moving around in this arc, like this, trying to, I think, bait out another dragon because he wants it to make it whiff so he can punish. But he gets caught in the blast from the acrobat bomb, which actually knocks him down, which is a little bit unfortunate. I guess dragon plus acro is just enough to knock down Glaive. So that's interesting to know. And so he doesn't get his punish because of that. And EMP just... What happened? Where did that dragon go? Did that go into the wall, or did it whip into the ground? Okay. Okay, it whipped it into the ground. And here EMP gets caught a little bit by the Hornets. I think he meant to land behind this wall, but he accidentally landed on top of it and got hit. That's going to cost him. And now, this didn't really come into play, but I want to talk about this wave pod placement, because I think this is really good. This is really solid, because the Hornets, you know, they were right here, right in this V, and the wave cuts off the retreat option to go that way. So that really is just really good option coverage on Nagastrike's part. And he backs off a little bit. He's really respecting EMP's tag option. He's not really going for it to try and break out of the combo, but he's respecting it. And so I think seeing this, seeing him not go for it, going forward, he should try to punish him for not doing that. But now we get to like a really fatal mistake that Naga keeps making over the course of this match. You'll see he goes for the acrobat jump, and then at the height of his jump, he goes for the B pressure. And the problem is that if you're in the air versus somebody on the ground, and the person on the ground has the potential to acrobat cancel, then the person on the ground kind of is advantaged because if they acro cancel their shot, they'll be able to dodge yours, but you won't be able to dodge theirs usually. Depending on like the range and the set of legs, like if you use quick jump for example, that makes you fall faster. So sometimes with quick jump, then you'll be able to fall underneath of their shot, but that's definitely not the case in this situation. And so you'll see he tries to pressure with bees and then just eats a dragon to the face for it. And so I think that's a situation that you need to always watch out for. Is he on the ground? Can he acrobat cancel? Because if he does that at the same time that I try to pressure him, then I lose that trade. It's almost like having frame advantage in a fighting game, to where like if you choose the same option at the same time that they do, if you have frame advantage, then like you just win the exchange. And so like EMP had superior positioning, so he just won the exchange. And so he air dashes out of the way of this dragon, but he's not going to be able to like really punish him for it. I think Naga needs to be playing more the mid and close range game. He accidentally knocks himself down with the acrobat bomb, which is kind of fine because the EMP whiffs the punish into this like pillar here. And we get sort of a soft punish on that whiffed dragon. He only got, I think, one of the needles. So he didn't knock down the aerial beauty, but at least we get damage. And this is really cool. The Seeker gets him. Naga overextends a little bit and gets greedy with his needle pressure. So the Seeker gets him, and then this actually is going to confirm into the dragon shot. So that's interesting. I think that Naga maybe, I don't think that was a true confirm, because you'll see he stands up and looks like he can move before this happens, but he definitely has to act fast to get out of that. Maybe he could have instant air dash, but I don't know. I don't know if he actually had time for all of that. But regardless, he has to take a lot of dragon damage. He probably could have rebirthed there and avoided the second dragon hit while he was down though. But I like this, trying to like force the close range game, but EMP backs off, not wanting to go for the trade. He gets hit by the lingering hitbox of the needle, and so that allows Naga to get more damage. And then he does the same mistake where he eats the dragon and then just backs off instead of punishing for it. However, he does get the punish on the second dragon, so all is not lost. It doesn't cost him too much, but it's a little bit suboptimal. Here he's trying to go for, okay, so there's a mix-up, right? You knock your opponent on the ground, and whenever they're standing up, you can always just like double dash like away with your teleport and avoid getting punished. But the mix-up is that you dash back and then dash back and then dash like forward, and you try to bait them to stand up and punish you with their gun, and then you punish their whiffed punish attempt, if that makes sense. And so he was going for that. However, the Afterburner gun has so many active hitboxes, and it just lasts so long that he got clipped with one of them. Unfortunately, he probably had to do the back dash and then double dash forward to get through all of that. However, even though he messed up a little bit on his punish game, he still did get a trade, which is in his favor in this matchup, like we discussed before. So he gets to capitalize, and when he stands up, they both go for the collision attack, and they both whiff, and it was really weird. It doesn't make the like normal sound whenever you hit an invincible target or whatever. They'll like clank, so it's like they didn't hit each other. So I don't really know what happened, but in any case, they whiff, and EMP is not able to get out in time to evade this needle gun. And you see him going for the mix-up again, and he's just sort of dashing back and forth a lot, hoping that EMP is going to commit to something, but it doesn't. He just runs away and reestablishes his pods on the field. Nagastrike is just pressuring with his pods and bombs now. And this is really great here. I really love this positioning on EMP's part. He runs, and just through this little window, he slides with the afterburner, and just in case Naga wants to do something, which he does, he would get hit and punished by the afterburner. So that's really good. That's really good on his part. And then he gets the bomb confirm, and let's see what he does with it. He goes for the afterburner, not a true confirm, but Naga wasn't able to get away. So just really good pressure in general. But this brings Naga really back into the game, this moment right here. The overextension allows Naga to get the close range, the B blast, the horny gun. This gun is so strong, and that gives him like 200 damage? Let's see how much damage that is. He's at 441. And afterwards, he's at 207, so more than 200, about 240 damage off of this one mistake. So that's really unfortunate. And so Naga backs off, and he's throwing out some waves. And here, I think maybe Naga should have acro canceled Hornets rather than just done a regular acrobat jump, because the Hornets might have been able to get to him before the lag ends. And because, like, now he has to burn an air dash to get away from all of that, this is going to allow EMP a chance to escape, which he does. And he tries to cover the escape route with Wave Pod, but it's a little bit late just because of lag from Hornet Gun. But this is a really small thing that just happened, but it's really good, so I want to highlight it. So he throws out his pressure, his wave pod, to cut off this escape route. So normally you might think that I can jump and dash over here and shoot Hornets, and like, where does he go? But the problem is that EMP is throwing out this standard bomb, and if he jumps, he's going to jump right into it. So he just cautiously backs away. So that's just really good awareness on Naga's part, I think. So they're just trying to pressure each other with their guns and making a few glancing blows. And just because of awkward spacing, Naga wins this little, or loses this little trade here. But I think bringing this Rayo 1 down into potential kill range is probably worth it, and probably just like, that trade's probably worthwhile even though he got knocked down, honestly. Because that gives him a chance to kill him later if he gets into position with that horn again. So we're just going for some pressure here, and EMP goes for the same kind of maneuver as he did before to try and slide with his afterburner, but the Hornet Gun's BS hitbox really gets him here. I want to go back and look at this moment really quick one more time. You see Naga throws out this wave. I think this wave is redundant because the Hornets already cover this space, and so I think that taking the time it took to throw out wave to instead throw out an acrobat bomb and acro cancel your Hornets would have allowed you to not have to make this a trade. You could have just like won the exchange without taking any damage, basically is what I'm trying to say. And so, was that the same? I want to double check and see if that's that same mistake where he tried to shoot the Hornets from the air. No. Okay, so what happens here is that Metal Bear, this is what I was talking about on the like preview page. Metal Bear is not able to avoid the homing from Dragon without using his air dash. And so that's why he takes this hit here, because he didn't air dash. So that's just the matchup hurting him a little bit. And I want to, did that knock him down? I think I skipped forward. Hang on. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, that knocked him down. I think that his only damage that he took before that... I don't know, he took some damage. Okay, I just wanted to double check and see for myself if the Acrobat Bomb plus Dragon is enough to knock him down. But I don't think it is. I think it's because he took those afterburner shots that Dragon was able to knock him down. So that's interesting to note. And so, okay, this air dash back I think was a bad play on Naga's part. Let's watch that again. He wakes up and he does his jump and then he dashes over here. I think just rushing in mindlessly and shooting bees probably is just the play to make, because you're able to win trades. However, I guess he's pretty far down. What's the trade situation like? 370 to 230. So that's about 400, 500 versus 6, 7, almost 800. So I guess I can understand why you wouldn't want to make the trade in that situation. But he definitely has to get something going. I think that, I don't know, going for the trade there probably actually is worth it. Because if you can force him to switch to his Rayo 1, then you've got a chance to kill him, right? Because of how low his health is. And the time is like ticking away. So you gotta find a way to end the match fast if you're Nagastrike. So probably going for the trade is where you want to do. You'll see right here he tries to time his Acrobat Bomb to get away from the Dragon, which should have worked honestly, but his timing was just a little wrong, so he has to take an unfortunate amount of damage there. And now he's trying to chase EMP in a circle around the map, which honestly you probably should just take center stage and try to corner him that way. But EMP does go into the middle, which is going to allow Naga to catch up to him and get some damage. But EMP is just kind of running away a little bit, and Naga's like, he does win this exchange here, but it's going to be hard for him to kill him in the last 20 seconds. This is a really risky switch on EMP's part now. He's in close range, because if he switches to his bear, he could potentially just lose his health. We saw earlier when Naga was able to do 240 damage with the close range Hornet gun. So if he's able to do that right here, then EMP could lose. Let's watch. He does knock him slightly farther away with the first shot of that afterburner, which is why he's able to just barely not do the damage he needs to do. If this Hornet gun right here, this Hornet shot, was like taken one step closer, I think Naga would have won the game. But he's able to hang on with 3 health, and EMP just runs away, and we're gonna see a switch here. Yeah, there we go. He just needs to run out the timer now. Naga just doesn't have enough time to do the damage he needs to do, even though he's winning some exchanges here in the late game. And so that's going to allow EMP really to take the victory in this game. I think that a few unfortunate mistakes forced Naga to take like dragon damage that he didn't need to take. Otherwise, this could have been like extremely close of a match, and probably could have been in Naga. Naga probably could have won, but that was unfortunate. So now let's take a look at game 2. Alright, so here's game 2, and if we look at the Robo select screen, the thing that's going to change for this game is that Naga is changing out his Metal Bear in favor of the Breaker with Flame, Straight S, Wave, and Booster. And so what this is going to do for him in the matchup is essentially make it a lot easier to just avoid the Dragon in particular. That's what was weighing him down in the first game a lot. And so it's going to be a lot easier for him to evade Dragon and just punish with Flame. And also it's important to note that I think Milky Way has a little bit of trouble with this Flame Breaker, because if he flies at a good angle towards Milky Way, then she's not going to be able to hit him out of his flight, you know, unless he's going straight on. And it's going to be hard for her to avoid the flames coming at her since she doesn't have an air dash. And if she's in the air, which she's going to be most of the time, she's not going to be able to use invincibility frames from her collision attack either. So I think this is really going to help him out in the matchup versus Milky Way. But it is going to mean that he can't just go for trades and try to win off of that. So he's going to have to play his neutral smart if he wants this to work out. So let's go ahead and look at how the game plays out. So we're on diamond fences. And they're both going to launch over here in the corner. And they're both going to get ones too. But you'll see, this is exactly what I was talking about in the last game. EMP just doesn't have a fast enough gun to compete with Needle. And so really this early game exchange couldn't go any better for Nagastrike. He gets off the damage that he needs early on, and he gets all the way back here. He's got one pod, and right here he's got another pod. There's a wall preventing EMP from going forward without jumping. And he accidentally gets his bomb out right before he lands, which means that it's not going to be able to head off EMP like down here somewhere where it would have been. Instead, it's all the way up here. So that's a little bit unfortunate, and EMP is able to escape the pressure situation. But his bomb misses, and now this is just insane pressure. Watch this. So he has right here the wall of lingering hitbox from Needle that just disappeared, but right behind it there's this diving pod come into play. Here coming out are the Gemini bombs, which are going to be like somewhere around here and here, and now you're going to see the Needle come out. And so it's just ridiculous for EMP to have to get around. I think the way, if he wanted to like get around this, he probably had to hang back behind this like square block and just throw out a bomb and wait for his Seekers to push Naga out of this position to try and get away. But he gets caught by the Needle gun. However, Naga doesn't get a full conversion because the Seekers push him back. But then I want to talk about this also. This is a small thing, but I want to talk about this teleport that he does to get away. See, he teleports backwards. And I think that probably the real play to make is to jump just a little bit higher and teleport forwards over here on the other side of the wall so that you can continue your pressure, because when the opponent's against, like, when there's a wall between you and your opponent's between the wall and you have Gemini bomb, it's really hard for the player in the corner to have to deal with that. And so he gives EMP an out by teleporting back here that he wouldn't have if he went here, for instance. But EMP doesn't take that out, and he goes back into the corner. He gets a hit confirm off of his Seeker pod, but he doesn't quite get the conversion that he would want. And now he's back in this situation where he's behind this wall in this crowded ass space, and he's gonna have to find a way to get out. And we still have all this pressure, but he gets clipped trying to come out from the corner and throw down some pods. And the pod's back, Naga off again, and Naga gets clipped trying to go in, but he wins the trade too, because it's still the same situation where Needle's going to just out trade with Afterburner up close. Not at a distance, but at close. And so now EMP is able to get the close range dragon, which does score the knockdown now that Naga took a couple rounds of Afterburner shot. And just narrowly does he escape the flame, which is really good. The flame gun hitbox is strongest at the tip. It's like Marth's sword. So he's able to pressure with the dragon, but not really get a hit. Stay safe. This wave pod, I guess, keeps EMP from coming forward and puts him in the corner, but it whiffs, and he gets a dragon for his trouble trying to throw out this bomb. However, since he does connect with the the straight S. That's another one of those stun bombs, and so that's going to prevent EMP from getting a bigger conversion off of his hit. EMP still wins the trade, but he could have got a lot more if he didn't get stunned by that bomb. And now Naga is able to force the approach with the flame gun and get off some damage. Now this is where the match is really going to start going in his favor, I think. The straight bombs aren't really doing much for him, honestly. He just barely gets clipped by this dragon here. Take a moment to appreciate this hitbox, actually. He throws out a wave, he tries to throw out his bomb behind it, but this massive hitbox he just falls into, and he has to eat another dragon too. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. EMP just didn't really have a way to avoid getting hit by this flame. Now if he shot a dragon just a moment sooner, then he probably could have intercepted him. Like right here, whenever EMP was like right in line, he could have shot a dragon, and Breaker can't avoid it mid-flight because he can't turn that sharp in the air. But coming back here is a misplay, because now he's too high in the air. He's not going to be able to land and go for a collision attack to get through with an invincibility, and he can't jump out of the way in time. Maybe he could throw an acrobat bomb and bounce up, but I don't think so. He's like moving as if he was trying to dodge the needle gun, but this isn't that. And that's by the way, it's something you have to really take into account in every matchup, is how do you move in a way that lets you evade your opponent's pressure, because the way that they pressure is going to change depending on like the gun and bomb and everything that they use. And this isn't the way that you evade the flame gun by like strafing around it. So then Naga's able to once more evade a dragon shot and fly away with a flame gun, and this is just putting in so much work. This seems like he has to change off of Milky Way, I think, because it's going to be very hard for him to handle Breaker in this matchup. Maybe quick jump would be really good for him, like the quick jump legs. That might help him out in this matchup. But once again, evade and shoot out flames. The wall, Naga tries to air dash too low to the ground, and the wall cuts off his escape route. Let's take another look. Right here, he lands and like flies, and he needed to retreat here because there was this choke point to where you were just gonna have to take the dragon hit. If he went for a high jump and then went off this way diagonally, he could have possibly gotten a flame shot in and stayed safe, or he could have just retreated and shot off flames and landed somewhere behind one of the, probably behind this block. Maybe it would have gone far enough to put him behind the wall, but I don't think he would have gotten directly punished. That's another thing about this matchup, is that I think that having guns that are a little bit slow makes it to where EMP is going to have a hard time just straight up punishing any of his landing lag. But he clips him with the dragon there. That's a good punish for Naga, but there EMP takes advantage of his tag and tries to shoot out his gun. I think whenever you have like a slow gun like that, it's better to tag and shoot your bomb rather than tag and shoot your gun. But Naga gets caught trying to go for his mix-up the same exact way that it happened in the previous game. And EMP gets a collision attack, and this really evens the game out. He needed that. In fact, that swings the game in his favor too, that one conversion. Now he's just kind of running away, and Naga's able to force the interaction. He gets stopped by the pod, but you'll see that EMP also gets stopped by Naga's pod, And now Naga is going to get the better of this trade. He gets in close around the dragon and gets the punish. I think that probably in these close range skirmishes it might benefit EMP to try and just escape pressure, maybe, because the dragon doesn't work out that well in close range. But here, this is really unfortunate. EMP tries to tag out of pressure, but gets the accidental down cancel, and that's going to seal his fate. And Nagastrike takes game 2. So things are heating up now. The score is 1-1 in the set going into game 3. Okay, now we're on to game 3. And so the character changes that are going to happen between rounds is that EMP switches from his Seeker pod to Caboose T. I'm not really sure what his line of reasoning is here, because his Seeker seemed like they were putting in work, at the very least preventing him from taking like as much damage as he would in a lot of knockdown situations. But maybe he's I don't know what he's trying to do with Caboose T, but we'll see if it works out for him. And the change on Naga's side is that he switches from Flame Breaker to Rayfall Breaker. And I don't know, I think he was I don't think this necessarily helps him out in that matchup. I think he just wanted to try it for fun, really, because I think Milky Way is going to have an easier time avoiding the Rayfall than she did the Flame. And I don't know, possibly the same for Ray 1. Maybe not the same for Ray 1. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out. Very minor character tweaks for game 3. Okay, so we're into the battle. And we're on High Rise Plaza. Actually, it could be because of the stage why he wanted to go with Rayfall. And it's because it can like shoot over the high walls. You'll see later on. And so we're going to launch, and they're going for these aggressive launches, always right next to each other. And Naga launches first, but he messes up his pressure and eats a dragon for his trouble. So even though he launched first, he winds up losing this trade. You'll see 622 on player 1 side, 600 on player 2 side. So he actually loses this early game exchange, even though he got the early launch. And then he trades with dragon after he already did his first dragon hit. And so this is just this is not a good look. He's really far behind now on trade. And not only that, but Naga is like, his HP isn't like managed well either, because he's got one bot sitting close to half, just over half, and the other one is still at full, while both of EMP's bots are in the 600s. So that's really unfortunate for Nagastrike. And then he has to eat another dragon. This is just not going his way. But here's where he starts the train. So he just dashes in and goes for the needle. And he takes a little bit of chip, but he goes straight for that next needle. This is how I think he should have been playing the last couple of games, honestly. He's just going in and shooting needles. And notice the like lateral teleports, how he kind of like goes for these like arcs around his opponent so that he can dodge the dragons and then punish. And so here he gets another punish as his opponent's tags on cooldown, can't do anything. Another like lateral teleports with punish with needles. Opponent's tag is in cooldown, can't do anything. And does he get another one? No, but he does get a hit. Backs away because he's got Seekers like hanging out. And here's where I think Naga is really going to make his first big mistake in the match. Now that EMP has a little bit of breathing room and Naga's HP is like very poorly managed, I think that now is the time that you want to switch and just change up the pace the match just a little bit. He's got a commanding lead. He could just switch to his breaker and just try to play like kind of safe, and even if you just go for trades, you should win because it's such a lead at this point. But he's going to stay on He's gonna stay on his glaive here, and he trades with the dragon, which is like fine because he at least burned his opponent's cooldown and he didn't get knocked down. He goes for a whiff punish on this collision attack, and this match is just wet and wild with all of these dash in needles. EMP gets hit by the lingering hitbox, but doesn't get knocked down. Naga just goes in, more needles. Just more needles. And he's really running a train here. Look, DMP is down to 169 and 330 versus 269 and 700. He eats a dragon, but Naga gets a good trade, eats another dragon, but now, see, this is the problem. This is the problem. Now he waits until he's got one bot under 100 life before he switches to his breaker, and this just puts him at a massive risk. A massive risk because he can't tag at any situation if he wants to without potentially dying. But this, I went back because I wanted to talk about this moment here. Right now, he could have like switched and shot out his bomb and like probably got EMP. But EMP was trying to back away to avoid that, and because he backs away, he gets hit by the Rayfall. I think that was an aerial shot too, the one that doesn't hang out for a minute. Let's rewatch that situation. Yeah, he goes for the aerial Rayfall, and so I don't think that was so much of a read on EMP going back as it was just a just like a natural reaction, switch and press B. But it works out here, and I think that might be a mix-up. Either shoot your straight bomb or you shoot the air Rayfall if you think they're gonna back off. But he gets some pressure set up here, and EMP gets caught in it. So there you go. That's good. Now I think that wave doesn't really do anything for him. He probably should have backed off behind the wall and started setting up his Rayfalls behind there for whenever he did rebirth, because he goes for this pressure while he's invincible, and that doesn't really help him out. Nagastrike, I mean. And see, yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The Rayfall bullets will go all the way over this wall and hang out before they shoot. And so maybe Naga picked this gun because he knew that it would work on this stage. Maybe, I don't know. But EMP is doing well to avoid the pressure. He's playing really passively, which is what you want to do versus these homing guns, honestly. Because he just ran around, didn't throw anything out, and avoided all of those many bullets. And Naga keeps throwing them out. And this is like, again, another read. Because right here, I think I went back too far. Right here, EMP just shot his afterburner. I'm pretty sure Naga just gets hit while his bullets are hanging out midair. However, he backs off, and that gives Naga the space he needs to make these Rayfalls safe. And he gets clipped by the caboose here, and that's why he's not able to fly any farther than that. But here, EMP makes a good conversion. Now something odd happens that EMP actually was confused on why did your bullets not go away even though I knocked you down. So this is something that I think people don't know about. Like, well, obviously people know about it, but it's not really like well known. Is that if you get knocked down, it has to be knocked down from a gun in order for your bullets to go away. So if you get knocked down by a bomb, including your own acrobat bomb, or by like a collision attack or even a pod, the bullets don't break. And so since what knocked Naga down was EMP's what's that called, his standard S-bomb, then these bullets are still hanging out ready to go, and EMP gets clipped by them. And Naga's bot in reserve healed back all the way up to 150, but This puts him in a really risky situation, you know. He probably should have just stayed in with Breaker and taken all of the damage because he wasn't at any risk of dying, but now he could lose the situation because of this. And so he whiffs his collision attack and eats a dragon and gets more damage, and then rebirth dragon. This is what I'm talking about. Naga had a commanding lead over this game, and he had a lot of offensive pressure exerted with his Breaker, and he was doing so well, but he just gave it up due to like poor life bar management, which is something that he ran into a lot in his set versus Neville that I analyzed last week. And so this is going to put EMP up 2-1 in this set, and this is best of 5, I believe. So if EMP wins one more game, the set's over. This is match point for EMP. Naga has to win 2 games in order to bring this back. So let's see what happens in game number 4. Okay, so we're on to game 4, and we're not on the Robo select screen because, well, they use the same bot for this round as they did last round with no changes. So I didn't think it was necessary. So let's go ahead and look at their launch. So now EMP gets the early launch, and he's going to capitalize on this really well with a double afterburner. I think possibly he could have gotten more damage off of straight, or sorry, not straight, but his standard S into collision attack. He had enough time to get in position and make that happen, and it may have done more damage than afterburner. I don't for sure know, but I think so. And Nagastrike could have tagged out of this situation here and not have to eat so many afterburner hits, and so I'm not sure why he didn't. But regardless, he takes the damage. Now watch, this is really crazy. This is insane. This is where the good stuff happens. Well, I take that back. It happens in just a minute, but you'll see something insane is about to happen. Nagastrike trying to get that pressure going that he had last game, but EMP is just wisely backing away and not throwing out any hits. And now, here's where it begins. So Nagastrike gets clipped by this caboose, the caboose T that EMP switched to 2 games ago. And this has quite a lot of hit stun, and we'll see that now he's able to come right around the corner and confirm that into his afterburner. And they're going to push Naga against the wall, and then combo it. He confirms it into his bomb, and I don't think he knew that this was going to confirm, or else he wouldn't have taken a step back like that. You know, he could have taken like a little step forward, collision attack, and brought him down even lower health to like 100 some odd health probably at that point, which is just crazy to think about because EMP is still at full health. We're only like 11 seconds in the match. Is my math right? Is that 11 seconds? I don't know. I don't want to count it, but not very much into the match. And Naga's like sitting below 300 before he even puts a single hit on the board. So this is not a good look for Nagastrike. He does rush in and get some of that pressure going on that he had before, but he has to eat some afterburners for his trouble. And so now he finally gets his hit in, but we're down to sub 100, which is pretty suboptimal. And I think here he's just flustered because he tags and goes for the Rayfall, which doesn't really work in this close quarters. He needed to go for either his wave or his straight bomb, but got a little bit flustered and had to eat a dragon on top of all that other damage that he had. In fact, 2 dragon shots. So he's just, Nagastrike is so far behind on trade. He needs to get something going, and soon. He needs to start winning just a lot of neutral game exchanges. It's the only way he's going to bring this back, and he can definitely do that with Breaker. But it's just a matter of like, will he be able to do it versus EMP? And he's not able to get any of those Rayfall shots to connect, and he just gets punished for it with these afterburners. I think that the stage choice is hurting him a lot too. you know, Breaker can do a lot of work on the last stage on High Rise where they were, or on something like Crevice Court, but L formation is really wide and open. So I think that means two things. It means that, for one thing, it gives EMP a lot of space to be able to slide between these walls and poke out with afterburner shots. And it also means that anytime that Nagastrike wants to commit to one of those laggy Rayfall shots, then EMP has a lot of like liberty to just like run up to him because there's not that many walls standing in his way. Excuse me. So he gets downed again by the bomb, and EMP just rushes in, doesn't bother shooting his gun at all because he's just gonna get hit by the Rayfall shots. And now he tries to get another bomb in while Naga's down, but it doesn't quite connect. So he's having to back off, which is just fine because that means he's able to shoot out these caboose T's with the huge explosion and the hitbox that does all the hits done. And Naga's able to get out of there, and in fact, EMP was getting a little bit overzealous because he gets hit by his own pod, but he's still sitting very far in the lead, 150, 248 to 700, 456. Things are looking very solid for EMP. He gets caught by some stray Rayfalls, but he's not going to take the full force of it due to this switch. The interesting thing about Rayfall is that because it comes from the air, it can catch you while you're jumping like this, and so EMP is going to get caught and knocked down trying to go for an acro cancel. And now Naga takes the moment to set up some Rayfalls, and he flies away, but you'll see he just wisely runs across the ground to avoid it. He doesn't even jump because jumping, you know, jumping is what got EMP down the last time. So even with the poor run speed of Milky Way, he's able to avoid those. He had a poor angle. EMP had a poor angle, which is why he wasn't able to punish this Rayfall shot. Let's go back and take a look at it just a little bit. Naga flies behind this sort of breakable pillar, and he sort of puts himself at risk whenever he goes for this Rayfall shot because he comes out from behind cover. However, EMP does his dragon a little bit too low, and he gets caught on that wall just in front of Naga. But, oh, Naga does connect at least with one of those Rayfall shots, and he makes a poor landing, and this makes him eat another dragon. Let's see where he chooses to land after this. Oh, he arcs around too much. I think he needed to try and land like further in the corner behind this wall, because landing right here in the open means that he's gonna have his landing punished, and punished hard. And so now Nagastrike's getting some, he put in some work with that breaker actually, but the unfortunate thing is that he also took a lot of damage. Both of his Robos are like sub 200 now, which means that now he's gonna go for a bad trade and lose the game. So that's unfortunate. This was a very fast-paced final match, and so EMP is going to take a set 3-1 over Nagastrike. I think a couple of things really hurt Naga in this game. For one thing, EMP got off to that brilliant start, not only winning the launch, but also getting that ridiculous like combo with caboose to afterburner to standard bomb. And so just like those few early game exchanges that Naga lost were so damning that he couldn't bring it back really. And I think also choosing poor landings with Breaker and getting punished for it hard also hurt. But I think that it was partly due to the stage why it was hard for him to land. But anyway, so that's the end of this set. I think that there are a couple other sets that I could analyze for next week, and I'm not sure which one I'll do. I think Naga's gonna have 2 more sets on his channel this week, but I partly would like to analyze one of my own, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna do one of the Robo Dudes videos that are up, or if I'll upload another Robo Dudes video and analyze that. I'm not sure what I'll do, but I want to do more analysis because I think that, I don't know, I hope this is entertaining for you guys. I know it's definitely a really good exercise for me personally to help me improve at the game, and I hope you guys are enjoying and learning things. So I'll see you guys on Friday with another tutorial. I think it's going to be about selecting the selecting a robo body, basically, is what it's going to be about. But I'll see you then, guys. Bye.